Hello, my name is Jemma Lonsdale. I'm from the Centre for Environment, Fisheries and Aquaculture Science, or CFAS, based in the UK, and today I'll be talking about how we've brought together regulatory environmental assessment data into a one-stop shop to make it more accessible for stakeholders. The CFAS, on behalf of the United Kingdom, collect and report annually data related to our obligations under two primary conventions. The first is the London Convention, London Protocol, on the prevention of marine pollution by the dumping of waste and other matter, and also under the Convention for the Protection of the Marine Environment of the North East Atlantic, or OSPAR. What you can see here is just one dataset we provide to OSPAR. We do provide other datasets, such as those related to offshore renewables and munitions. The data we collect and provide are primarily around two areas. The first, which you can see on the screen now, is related to the disposal of material to sea. Predominantly, this material is dredge material, so the removal of seabed for the purposes of navigation. From this dataset, we can see the different disposal sites, so any area of seabed that is going to receive this dredge material has to be designated as a disposal site. We get a little bit of information from the description of dredge material, so how much silt, sand and gravel. We get to understand a bit about the dredging activity, so is it regular, as in maintenance, or is it a one-off capital? And importantly, we find out how much material is being disposed of to these disposal sites for the 12 calendar months previous. Alongside this, we also have the contaminant loading data. This is where, based on representative samples and analysis, we scale up, based on the material disposed, how much of each contaminant is estimated to have been disposed of to sea, and any potential risks in so doing. While these data cannot be used to do a true trend analysis, as dredge and disposal requirements change year on year, these data can be used to provide indicative trends, highlight any potential issues with the contamination at disposal sites, and also be used to inform assessments to underpin marine licence applications. In order to get the data, the regulators from the different administrations, so the Marine Management Organisation for England, Marine Scotland for Scotland, the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs for Northern Ireland, Natural Resources Wales for Wales, and the governments of Jersey, Isle of Man and Guernsey, all provide their raw data to CFAS, who collate on behalf of DEFRA. These data are provided every April or May for the preceding calendar year to CFAS, and CFAS checks the data, as I said, on behalf of DEFRA. We then upload into the database and run a series of checks and calculations before producing reports for OSPAR, which is a regional convention, so the boxed areas on the map, and also the International Convention, the London Convention, London Protocol. As part of a recent project to review the thresholds used to determine the acceptability of the disposal of dredge material to sea, which also underpins the licenses, which then goes on to inform the reports, stakeholders reported to the project team that data were not easily accessible and the process for reviewing disposal to sea applications was not transparent. As part of the engagement process, the stakeholders helped to review an assessment framework. However, during the workshops, it was discussed that the framework had a lot of detail behind each box, and the question was how we could get the data and the assessment framework into a more accessible format. So to answer that, CFAS has worked with DEFRA and stakeholders to develop an online app. This app has two parts. The first being a visualisation, a map part, where the sample results, so the samples that have been taken to characterise a dredged area, can be searched for and reviewed. And that's what you can see here. So the individual circles are where a sample's been taken, and the green and yellow, and in some instances, which is not on this contaminant, red, indicates the level of risk that that sample represents in the dredge material, and also the suitability of that material to be allowed to be disposed of to sea. We also have some statistics on the right. This is looking at the area of interest. So as you zoom in, these numbers will change to the samples that are available in the area of interest. What you can't see on this map is you can turn on the disposal sites layer, and you'll be able to see the disposal sites and also investigate the data behind, so how much material has been disposed of, linked to the reports that I showed you earlier. When you have an area of interest, you can zoom in and see the samples related to that area of interest. Based on whichever contaminant you've chosen on the left, it will then show you the value in particular units and also, again, the level of risk associated. So you get a national or a regional view, and then you can also have a look at an individual sample as well. The second part of the framework provides guidance on how to assess disposal to sea applications, including the differences and links to the different devolved administrations. So what happens is this figure on the right takes you through the process, and on the next slide I will show you a zoomed in version so you can read it a little bit easier. And as you go through, on the left hand side, you will see these boxes light up to show you where you are in the process. Importantly, this was developed and adapted based on the feedback of stakeholders and multiple workshops, and is currently undergoing beta testing. The app itself is currently live, and people are currently testing that for us and providing us feedback before it goes live at the end of this financial year. The app provides a first step in a one-stop shop for marine licensing data. What we're hoping in the future is to bring together some other related sample data, contaminant data that we can feed in that will also inform marine licence applications and assessments. We're also in talks with other agencies within the UK to see if there's other assessments and data that should also be included. So I would just like to say that obviously this hasn't been a one-man show, so I'm here presenting today, but actually this has been the work of a very large team, both within CFAS, within DEFRA, within other government organisations, but also with many, many stakeholders across industry, government and academia. And without them, we wouldn't have been able to pull this app together. With that, I'll just say thank you. If anyone wants to get in touch separately about the app or have a separate discussion, then my email address is on there, so please do get in touch. Thank you ever so much.